The last time I gave you guys a van tour, I lived in a literal box that was very small. But this time is different because I live in a fancy box that is slightly bigger and more comfortable, with new luxuries like a PS5 gaming setup in my TV, a full shower with unlimited hot water. I'll show you how I set that up, and much more. I don't want to give everything away in the intro, but make sure to stick around to the end to see the entire camper. And with all of that said, let's start the tour inside. The first thing you see when you walk in is my dinette area, which is used for a lot of different storage purposes. So right under this first initial bench, this is where I store my fire hydrant, and my shoes are in this cabinet. I store them here because it's super easy. As soon as I walk in, I just take them off, stick them in there. Don't need to track dirt through my house. Under the table in my dinette area, there's also more storage space for shoes. Right under here. In my dinette area, I also have my fridge. This is a huge plus having this because in my other van I did not have a fridge, I just had a cooler. Above my dinette area I have these cabinets which work as storage, but also they work as a bed. In the corner you can see that there are these latches. You can also see in here there are hinges. So all you have to do is unlatch that, fold it so it sits on this little bar, and then you have an entire bed that goes across this kitchen space. Only thing that sucks is that it can hold 70 pounds. So unless it's a kid sleeping up there, then it's not really useful, but I do use it for storage. I have my linens on this side, my bike helmet, and then on this side is where I keep all of my tools. Got my toolbox, my tire inflator. This is a portable jump starter, which is helpful. And then I have my tarp in the back. Next cool thing is that if I want someone sleeping in here, this whole entire dinette area turns into a bed, as I'm sure a lot of you guys guessed. Basically, this pole comes out, it just lays on the floor, and then the table goes down and gets fit into this crack right here. And then also under this cushion as well, you can see the lip. This whole camper can actually sleep 6 people comfortably if you have 2 kids, because once again, up there, that's for kids. Then we have this part of my dinette, which I call my office. You guys might recognize it from some of my previous videos. This is where I film advertisements. On my office wall is also where I have my thermostat. Also black smudges on my wall, what the heck? It got worse. Oh no, what the heck? Okay, I'm gonna stop. This is also the only place in the entire camper that you can actually lounge without laying in a bed. Unless you want to lay on the floor, that's perfectly fine. This is where I like to lay in the morning, drink my coffee, and then right under my lounge spot is Peach's room. I put some nice wallpaper in there. She has a bunch of toys, a nice squishy blanket. One thing I do want to point out is that there is not a door on it. She can come out and in as she pleases. I never lock her in here, but she really does like it. I think that she likes having a space that's not under my feet while I'm walking around all the time, because it is a minimal floor space. This is one of her like 4 beds in this entire camper, but this was storage I was willing to give up for the sake of Peaches. Right across from Peach's room is this cabinet under my kitchen. This is where I store my trash. The trash literally just freezes and no bugs get into it, so it's great. Right across from my dining area is my bathroom in here. On the outside of my bathroom, I have this big body mirror, which is very nice. I also store my elephant bag and my umbrella, but let's go in. The light switch is right on the outside. My towels are hung on my door. I have room for at least 3 of them. This is the best way that I could think of to demonstrate how small this bathroom actually is, that you guys could like tell with the camera. I'm sitting on the toilet right now, my knees are almost touching the wall, and then my back is almost touching the wall as well. It's very small, but it does the job. I'm very appreciative to even have this bathroom, considering in my van I did not have one at all. No toilet, no shower. I had a sink, but that's it. On the countertop, I store a lot of my shower supplies along with my wash rag. I do have a cabinet up here where I store more shower supplies. Everything's Velcroed to the wall to make more room for things. I also have a mirror, of course, and a shower, which is right there. In the intro, I mentioned my unlimited hot water shower, which is in this bag. It's a separate setup from my actual shower, but I still use it in there. I'll show you. This was a really good investment. I got it off Amazon. So it consists of these 2 ends and then a tube connecting them. This is the motor. You stick it into some water and then it sucks it up and spits it out of the shower head. If I'm wanting to take a longer shower than I actually have water for, once I'm done taking the shower and I'm completely clean, that's the key, you rinse out any leftover water and soap in the bottom of the shower, then plug this drain, and as you can see there's a lip right here about 2 inches, so this whole entire base of my shower can fill up about 2 inches, which is just enough for the shower pump to sit right here and keep pumping the water up. That's why it's important to be clean once you do this. It's been a lifesaver because I personally am a fan of taking long showers. Outside of my bathroom, there's even more room for storage on this wall. I keep my oven mitt, and also inside of this I keep grocery bags, which I use as trash bags because they're tiny. On this wall, I also have my broom, which is hooked up with these little clips. Next to my broom is my kitchen cabinet. This cabinet is horribly organized. I hardly have anything in here. Honestly, it makes it look like I'm rationing, like from a war or something. But it's just an awkwardly shaped cabinet for food. It's very deep, which is just weird. So I need to figure out something else to do with this. If you guys have any ideas, let me know. At the top, I do store my paper towels and toilet paper, so that's a great spot to do that. But everything else, I'm not really sure what to do with. Under that cabinet, I have my silverware drawer. And then under that, I have my junk drawer, which literally every person has in their house. In here, I have some random stuff like Velcro, a dog brush, some tools that I might need quick access to, like a screwdriver, a lighter, things like that. Under these drawers is where my heater is. I spend a lot of time sitting here in the morning. Watch like this, ready? Usually rocking back and forth, holding my fists together and shivering. Next to my heater is where I also have my oven, which is also where I store my trash. It's okay. When there's like 3-day-old chicken in here, sitting right next to the heater, it's a great smell in the morning. In my oven, I use it for storage. I have some pans in here, but I have never used this oven even once. So, it might not even work, I don't know. This is my stovetop. It folds up like this, but when I first moved in here, I insisted on putting it up like this, and then it would fall onto a pot of boiling water, or even better, hot grease. That was fun. And then flies everywhere. So I learned very quickly to just put it up like that. Okay. On my stove is where I keep my lighters attached with magnets to my above the stove fan. Next to my stovetop, I also have my sink and a little Peaches. Look at this, I found it at the dollar store. Isn't that perfect? Under my sink, I have these cabinets. I have cutting boards, bowls, a strainer with a lot of hard water stains on it, which is gross. I have some cans, I'm not sure why they're in here. They really should be in that cabinet that I was telling you I don't know what to do with. Ziploc bags, an extra little tiny pot, detergent, more soap for dishwashing, and then of course all my plumbing. And then on the interior of the door, I keep my little mini broom. Right next to my sink, I have this cabinet. I thought that it was for like silverware or something, I didn't know, but now I use it for weapons. Yeah, I'm not trying to show you guys too much because I need to keep an element of surprise, and also YouTube does not like talking about certain things. Then above my kitchen, I have a bunch of cabinet space. In this first cabinet, I keep all of my dishes. I think this cabinet used to be used for a microwave. That's just kind of what it looks like to me, at least. But I think the previous owner ripped it out, and they definitely installed this door because it looks nothing like the other doors in this whole entire camper. And then the next cabinets over are where I store my food. Once again, with driving, things go all over the place. So my food, I try organizing it almost every day, actually. I go in there and organize, but it just gets unorganized. Like, things are literally spilling over. Look at my peanut butter. Look at it. If I had to say that there was an ugliest part to my camper, it would definitely be this cabinet. I feel awful saying that, but that's just the case. On the outside, I keep my sombrero and my calendar. Just brace yourself, ready? Okay, you're just being nice. There's a lot to unpack in here. This used to be a fridge. That's why it looks so like gaping and ugly. Once again, the past owner ripped it out and made this ungodly heavy door. This thing weighs at least 30 pounds by itself. I'm not even kidding. It is solid. Funny thing is, if you look up here, see this chain swinging? It's supposed to hold this door. It was a few days ago I was driving, and apparently there were too many G-forces with my driving, and this door came flinging open hard enough to break that chain. That is how hard this door flew. I was just trying to get to Walmart, and when I came back, my pots and pans all over the floor. My mini crock pot, which was $10, was on the floor. But the ceramic or glass did not shatter, which speaks to its integrity. I was very impressed. At the top is where I keep Peaches' food. And then on the top, I also keep some other tools and stuff. And then at the bottom, this is where all of my solar setup is. I wish I could explain it a little bit better, but I know just the basics. I have one battery, it works well. I could add a second one, it would probably help, but I don't need one as of now. I have my inverter. These are the only plugs that I have in this whole place. So if I want to plug in my computer or a blender or my crock pot or a fan or anything, it gets plugged into this bad boy. And then right here is Peaches' toy, cookie, medicine basket. That's just right here, things that I don't want her to have easy access to. Also, I just installed this wallpaper on this door because it was absolutely hideous, but I think this might have made it more hideous. I'm not sure yet. It's wallpaper from the dollar store, so it's not that big of a deal. It was like $6, but still. I'll see how I feel. Under this cabinet trying to let you guys know where I'm going. I have this cabinet, which is where I keep all of my spices. This was the only shelf in this whole entire camper that was thin enough to be able to hold all of the spices in place while I drive. If you see this like white jug behind it, that's an outside compartment, which I'll show you when I do the outside part of the tour. And then in this little pamphlet is the manual to the camper and the truck. As you guys could imagine, Peaches is spoiled, so this is one of the other places she has to sleep. This is the ledge that leads up to my bed. Right next to Peaches' bed, I have my emergency window, one of them. It looks like it leads to heaven, but it leads to my truck. Peaches likes going into the truck and looking out the windshield, so I have this window open pretty often. The only problem is that there is this big gap between my truck and my camper, and I don't want Peaches using that to escape. I made these foam pads as a makeshift wall, but every time I drive they end up falling and just aren't holding up very well. What I'm gonna try next that I think will work better is an inflatable tube that you put in your pool. I think if I were to inflate one of those between my camper and my truck, that it would fill in that gap and kind of seal it, and since it's a whole circle, it would be sealed all around, and then Peaches can just go in and out as she pleases. So that'll be for a future video. Wish me luck. Another important storage space I have in this area is right here next to her bed under the spice cabinet. This is where I keep her bowls. Inside this cabinet, I have water jugs, and I also put my dirty laundry in here inside of just like a trash bag. I don't have any right now though. And also I can access my hose back here. Right next to Peaches' bed is where my battery monitor is. This is how I keep track of how well my solar's performing and how sunny it is and how much power I have. Seems to be doing pretty good. We got 10 amps coming in. Time for the bed area. This is an area I did not waste any space with storage. As soon as you come up to my bed right next to my kitchen, there's this little gap. I have a little notebook, a bunch of pens and markers, a candle for some reason, and I just keep that under this blanket to make it look nice. Next to that, I have this area, which is above my weapon cabinet. This basket is from Cambodia, and I just keep my chargers in there. Above this is one of the only outlets for my bed. I have a car charger in here. That's what's being used at the moment. Then above all that, I have my game area. I keep all my card games and board games up here. This little railing is really helpful because it keeps everything from falling out. Also, I have a radio in here. Let's put on some tunes. Amazing. I have a speaker here and a speaker there. On my bed, I have two different comforters. I have my sleeping bag and my comforter because it's been getting so cold at nighttime. I have my fan, which is right here, which is also Velcroed down. It works great. It has a battery in it, so you just charge it and then it can run without being plugged in for like 12 hours. Up by my bed is where I keep all my clothes. Next to my bedside, I have this cabinet, which opens up. It's where I keep all of my pants and underwear and socks, anything that goes in the lower half of your body, basically. Then above that, I have this cabinet, which is where I keep all my shirts. I also keep my PlayStation controller Velcroed up here. Speaking of my PlayStation, that's on the other side of my bed, which is right here. Then I have my TV, which is in the corner. And my TV is purposely mounted on a swivel so that I can watch it from the kitchen as well. See that? And also I can watch it from bed. A really weird mystery that has been happening since I moved into this camper and has kind of convinced me that it might be haunted. Almost every morning that I wake up, I find little pieces of wood sprinkled on top of my PlayStation. It's not every morning, but it's very, very frequently. And it's the only thing in my whole entire camper that has little pieces of almost like sawdust sprinkled onto it. And every time I clean it up, I wipe it up, and it had me going crazy. I'm sitting here thinking like, is Peaches coming up here in the middle of the night and like eating on top of my PlayStation? Probably not. Then I was thinking, do I have mice and they're just eating on top of my PlayStation? Like, so I'm genuinely confused, and I have gone through every option that is logical in my mind except for being haunted. That's like literally where it's taken me. I'm like, you know what? I live with a ghost at this point. It is what it is. Above me, I have my emergency exit, which is great. I love this thing. You can crank it open like this, and it still has the screen, or you can just pull this and the whole thing comes open. Let's go up. All right, we're on top of my roof. It's very windy out here. This is one of my favorite places on my camper. I have 4 solar panels up here. Each one is 100 watts. Funny thing is that when I first bought this, my solar panels were not working at all, and I had no idea why. I was trying to mess with them. I'm not an electrician by any means, but I was doing all the research I could. I ended up taking it to a professional. He couldn't figure it out, and he worked on it for, I think it was like 4.5 hours. And finally, he figured out the issue that was wrong with them. It wasn't the solar panels that were broken. it was these little connectors on each one of them. Apparently the camper had been struck by lightning and that had completely fried the wires, and then now any electricity that the solar panels were making couldn't get to my battery. So we just replaced those little clips and everything works great now. I like to hang out up here a lot, but there's not much space over here because of solar panels. So I mainly stay in this area. It is incredibly painful trying to get up here because look, it is like a razor blade. You see this edge? You see that? So when you come up and you stick your butt onto this ledge, guess who's getting a butt full of knives? You. But once you get up here, it's lovely. Now it's time for the outside. Right here is my water heater. It's really old and it's terrifying when you light it up because it explodes, but it does work, so I'm appreciative for it. Here I have my ladder, which helps me get onto the roof, and also have my bike attached to that. Right next to my door is where my dump equipment is. For my gray and black tank, just pull these little levers and it just comes spewing out. Each corner of my camper has jacks that go down by themselves to hold the camper up in case I need to pull my truck out from underneath it. On the side of my camper, I have tons of storage. In here is where I keep all of my survival things with extra lighters, life straws, medicine, gauze, bandages, stuff like that. And then right here is my water fill. On the other side of the outside, this is where my propane tanks are kept. I have two of them. They're both horizontal, which is kind of frustrating because it's harder to find a place that'll fill them. I really want to install a wood stove inside so that I can stop using so much propane, because with my heater constantly running, my propane lasts about a week, and that's about $40. But without my heater, it can last over a month if I'm just using my stove. So I think a wood burning stove would be really helpful in trying to save money and trying to go get gas less often. And now it's time for the actual truck, which I use to store a lot of different things, especially in the back. But this is another one of Peach's spots that she likes to sleep, up in the front, just sunbathe. As you can see, evidenced by her mutilated poor animal. The funny thing is that Millie always went after the face and Peaches always goes after the limbs. They would have made a really good team. I have my gold pan, my camping chair, my hammock, my axe, my deer camera. But this is my home and I hope that you guys liked it. I enjoyed showing you guys around. I tried making it as concise as possible and just try not to blabber too much because that can be annoying, but also share some details that you guys probably wouldn't know just at first glance. Yeah, this is my home. I'm still gonna do a bunch of work on it, especially in this freaking cabinet. That thing is like the bane of my existence, but it's a work in progress. But if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. Those are free ways that you can help my channel, and I would greatly appreciate you doing that. If you did, please let me know in the comments and I'll give your comment a little heart. But before I go, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who supports the channel on Patreon. Thank you guys so very much. Because of you, I'm able to continue making content and show you all of the beautiful places that the world, and mostly the US for now, has to offer. So thank you guys so very much. And an extra special thank you goes to Robert Swan, Scott Krutz, Brian Butterfield, Michael Posh, Scott Sweaters, Paul Carpenter, and Britt Saunders. Once again, thank you guys so much. If you would like to join, all that information will be in the description, along with other ways that you can support the channel if you would like. Also, I have OnlyFans if you want to check that out. That will also be linked in the description. But anyway, I think that is all that I have to say. I hope I'm not forgetting anything. I feel like I am. I always do. Peace out, guys. I love you. I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.